Good morning, everybody, and welcome to
Good
class.
morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning. So, as you can see, when you go to the Brightspace, right, you're gonna see that I have posted a review sheet. Okay, so when you go to Brightspace, you go to announcement, you see that, click here, so you have the review sheet. So you have some problems, few problems, selected problems, right? And also you have the answer key, okay? Now, about the answer key, it's always possible that you can have a typo every now and then, okay? So if your answer does not match my answer, and then you repeat, and you say, you get the same answer. And if you think I'm wrong, please, reach out to me, email me and tell me about it. I'm gonna double check, okay? Because, you always can do like, one typo here, one typo there, stuff like that, okay? All right, so today we're gonna continue, but what's gonna be on the test next week is gonna be only, what you see on the review sheet, okay? If you do some today on Thursday, and that isn't on the review sheet, so that will not be on the test, okay? So basically, I think the test goes all the way to proportions, what we're doing today. I mean, what we did last time. So today we're going to do some application problems about proportions, right? But I don't think there will be some on the test, all right? So, okay, so if you go, some word problems.
Professor, when is the test?
The test is next week. It is the 5th.
Okay.
October the 5th, right?
Do we need Respondus or that program to do it?
No. The test will be on Zoom. So that is a good question. The test will be on Zoom. Everybody, even those who never turned on their camera since the beginning, you'll have to turn your camera on, and you'll have to adjust it to the workstation so I can see. That is real proctoring, okay? I have to see, it's not about the face, I have to see you have to adjust your camera so I can see the way you write, okay? Everybody, if you don't have a camera, you cannot do the test. Then I will have to send your test to the testing center, okay? All right, so, okay, so let's do these applications right here. This is applications about proportions, right? The currency in Western Samoa is a tala, right? The exchange rate is approximately $0.7 to $1. At this rate, how many dollars would you get if you exchange 13.3? You see, I mean, maybe you can do the math just like that, but it's always very important to organize ourselves in a way a problem can become easy, right? So, and this type of problems are very important. All of us will travel, sometimes you go somewhere where you have to exchange with some people, not like, not with a bank, you have to exchange with some people. So you have to make sure they don't trick you, okay? So it's very important to know how much money I should get before they do the math, right? So right here, if I want to, if I want to myself I have the dollar, I have the dollar. Okay, so we have one dollar here is $0.7, right? Okay, so I'm saying now 13.3 dollars is how much dollar, okay? Since I don't know how much dollar, I'm going to give it a variable name. I'm going to call it X dollars, right? You see? So basically, and now we're going to apply the proportions, right? Which means for answer, we're going to say 1/13 is equal to 0.7 over X. However you want to read it, or 1/0.7 is equal to 13.3 over X, right? Okay, so you have a lot of proportions which are the same. You can say 1/13.3 is equal to 0.7 over X. You can say 1/0.7 is equal to 13.3 over X, you know, et cetera, right? All these proportions are exactly the same. Okay, all of them are exactly the same. They
Quick question.
say, yeah, go ahead.
So is there another way to do this? Like, it looks really familiar, and is there another way to do this?
Yeah, I mean, so
Is
you're talking about, we're not solving that yet. We're just setting the problem up.
right.
For
That's
now,
what. Okay. All
how
right.
to solve it now, maybe you can recognize what you have to do, okay? But
Okay.
we are setting the problem up. I remember last week we said every time we have proportions like that, the cross multiplication should be the same, right? So if you multiply 1 by X, it should be equal to this times this, right? Again, why we try to organize ourselves this way? Why? Just in case the problem is a little bit trickier, okay? That problem here is very simple, okay? But if the problem is a little bit trickier, then maybe a small scheme like this one can help, okay? So the cross multiplication says 1 times X must be equal to 0.13.3 times 0.7, okay? And so for 13.3 dollars, we will have 13.3 times 0.7, then we get our calculator out.
So we're allowed to use the calculator on the test?
Yes, you are allowed to.
Okay.
So 13.3 times 0.7 is 9.31. Okay, now, one thing I can tell, I have to tell everybody, do not confuse between the quiz, right, and the test, okay? So the test is proctored, first of all, it is proctored, right? So I will be watching. And and it is not like, a take-home test, okay? So basically, even somebody who scored 100% on the quiz, you still have to prepare yourself for the test, okay? You still have to do a very good preparation for the test, right? Don't say, I got my 100% on the quiz, I'm good, stuff like that. No, you have to wait this test. This test is really the first real test because it is proctored, right? It is proctored. So, all right, so we have to do some preparation for the test. So we have 9.31. 9.31. So 13.3 dollars is $9.31. Again, I encourage everybody to do this small stuff in case the problem is a little bit harder, okay? In the case the problem is a little bit harder. So let me try to pick another one right here. All right, so try to do this one. A bird bath that is 5.3 feet tall casts a shadow that is 25.4 feet long. Find the length of the shadow that an 8.2 feet adult elephants cast.
Is this like, okay, all right, never mind. I get it. It kind of sounds like a trick question a little bit. We're talking
Yeah.
about birds and we're talking about elephants.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, you are, we say, for instance, if you know, what is, how tall you are, and you measure your shadow, and you can try to calculate what's going to be the shadow of somebody else if you are at the same spot. You see, this is the thing. All right, so think about this one for a couple of minutes, everybody. All right. So I mean, let me give you like a couple of more minutes. Okay, so tell me, somebody got an answer?
I have one, but I'm not sure if I have it right.
So how much your answer?
My answer is X equals 202.98.
32.98?
No, 202.98.
Oh, that's a lot.
That's wrong. I think I know what I did wrong though.
I said that's a lot. You
Yeah.
see? So did you forget to divide by something?
Yes, I subtracted instead of divided. So that's what I
No.
did wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So this is all about divisions here. These are proper. Somebody else got an answer? Somebody else got an answer?
So I have the 5.3 over the 8.2.
Equal to what?
And then the 25.4 over X.
Over X. Yep, you see, exactly. So let me write it down first. So we said here, the elephant right here, and here the bird, right? When the bird is 5.3, shadow and here length. Okay, so when the bird is 5.3, the length is, the shadow is 25.4, right? And the elephant, which is 8.2, how much is that? So it doesn't matter where you put, where you have put the, you know, the columns or the rows. It doesn't matter where, which, you know, what is your first column, what is your second column, what is your first row, what is your second row. It doesn't matter. Now, once you got that now, you see, so you said, you see, now we have a lot of, you have a lot of proportions that we can write, okay? But all of them amount to the same cross multiplication, okay? I even would advise you to go straight to the cross multiplication, right? Because, okay, you just told me what proportion you got. You said 25.4 over what?
Oh, and we're back.
Okay, so what proportion you just told me now?
8.2 you cross multiply. So 5.3x equals, and then you multiplied 8.2 times 25.4,
Exactly.
which is, oh.
That is correct. So we cross multiply that here, this times this must be equal to this times this. Exactly, this is exactly what you told me, just correct. Everybody see that? Once you organize yourself like that, you're going to go straight to the equation. You even don't have to write the proportions, right? Because we can write the proportion a lot of ways. You can write a lot of proportions. But when you go, they all do the same cross multiplication, which is 5.3 times x is equal to 8.2 times 25.4, right? And then to get x by itself, what you do?
Then,
Uh-huh.
so 8.2 times 25.4 is 208.28. And then to get x by itself, we divide 5.3 both sides.
Exactly. Okay. And then we do the math. How much is that? 30 what?
39.3.
39.2.
Point, well,
Point what?
round it. You didn't want to round it.
Yeah, I mean, you can round to 39.3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody see that? Again, the small table we did over there is a good help. Once you got your right columns, you just cross multiply. That's it. Okay? You just cross multiply. Okay, let's see another one that is maybe a little bit more complicated. Okay, so we have a basketball stuff. I mean, I don't know if basketball or something like that. We have the Vikings. And we have the teams, right? But here, we said the Vikings led the Timberwolves by 19 points at the half. Do we know how much each one of them scored for sure? Do you know exactly how much each one of them scored? Just reading like this sentence, does it tell us how much each team scored at the half?
No.
It does not. What it does tell us, the difference is 19 points, right? It could be 20 points versus 1, right? It could be 40 points and 21 points, right? You see, we don't know. But we know the difference is 19, okay? But we know what is the ratio of scoring. The ratio is 3 points every time the Vikings scored 3 points, how much the team scored? Only 2, right? Okay. Okay, what's going to be your second row? That, that I let you think about it like a couple of minutes. What's going to be, I know the first row is 3 points for the Vikings versus 2, right? That is the ratio, okay? 3/2, okay? What's going to be the second one? How are you going to write it down? You see, that one is a little bit different from the other ones, right? So you have to do a little bit of imagination. So what do you think? So can somebody tell me what they did right in the second row? You see here, again, we try to be organized. So what you gonna write in the second row? At the half. At the half.
I put 19 under Vikings and X under Timbers.
Now you see, when you say 19 under Vikings, you are stating that the Vikings scored 19 at the half.
Okay.
That we don't know. What you know is the difference, right? Okay. So you see here, we cannot just put like, we have to involve variable because there is an unknown. An unknown is we don't know how much each one of them scored, right? We know the difference is 19, but we don't know exactly how much one is scored, right?
Right. So it would be like X's under, I don't know. This one's
Yeah,
confusing.
yeah, variables, of course, right?
We
You see,
don't
for-
know. That's why we're here.
Yeah,
That's why we're here. Like, we don't know. I don't know. Like, you tell me, like, tell me, teach me. Like, I don't, like, I just, I'm here.
Is it, would it be X
you
and
have to
X?
think about it, you have to think about it. Math is always like that. The minute I tell you it's going to be easy, and then I let you do another one, and then you're going to be able to do that. You have to try.
Right.
You see?
Right.
So I tell you it's going to involve variables, and math is the subject. When somebody gives you the answer, it becomes easy. And
But
that
it's
is
supposed to
why,
be easy. It shouldn't be complicated.
yeah, especially, when you're given hints, it becomes easy. But unfortunately, in the test, there will be no hints. So you have to involve variables, and you have to interpret what is the link between the variables. For instance, I don't know how much the Vikings scored, right? Everything you don't know, you give it a variable name, right? At the half, right here. At the half. Do I know how much the Vikings scored? I don't know, right?
No.
So let me call it X. Now, according to this now, if the Vikings have scored according to this sentence right here, if the Vikings have scored X points at the half, how much the teams scored? According to the sentence right there, how much?
Minus 19.
What is minus 19? You are on the right track. What is minus 19?
Negative 19. I don't know.
X minus
Oh,
19?
you almost got it. X minus 19.
Okay.
You see, if the Vikings scored X points, because of the sentence I just boxed it, right?
Mhm.
Then the Thames scored X minus 19 points, right?
Okay.
Everybody got that?
Yes.
You see, and that is what we needed to be done. So when we do algebra, we don't hesitate to involve variables, right? We don't. Every time we do algebra, we have to involve variables. You see, now it becomes exactly what we did before. Now you do the cross multiplications, right? How about if somebody else said, no, the Viking did not score X, the Thames scored X at the half. Then how much the Vikings will score then?
X plus 19.
X plus 19, you see, because the Vikings have 19 more points, right? Okay,
That's the way I did it.
that's the way you did it, exactly. So it's going to be X plus 19. So now after that, now your problem is set up. Now you solve for X now. You see this, you're going to have this stuff, this type of proportion, you're going to have them on the test. Basically, you're going to have, if you have 2 over X is equal to, 3 over X, I'm sorry, is equal to 2 over X minus 19. How are you going to solve for X? Can everybody solve for X? I let you 1 minute to do it. Go ahead, solve for X.
Cross multiply.
Cross multiply. Okay, go ahead and do the math. And let me see what you get. So when you cross multiply, what you don't forget around X minus 19, what you don't forget?
Parentheses.
Thank you, for parentheses, right? This will help you avoid mistakes. So you don't forget the parentheses like that. Okay. We do that, it's gonna be 3 parentheses, X minus 19 must be equal to 2X. I see some people getting this stuff right and then being about to get confused how to solve a linear equation.
Do we distribute, like, do we distribute the X to the 3 to 19 or?
Yes, we distribute.
Okay. See, look, I know a little bit.
Yeah, that solving stuff. Yeah, you know very well. It's
I know a
minus
little bit.
57.
I'm trying, I'm here.
Equals to X, right? You see? Now here, what to do now to get X by itself? What can you do?
Okay, so wait a minute. I didn't know my mic was on my bed.
So we have to have all variables on one side and we have to have all numbers on the other side, right? For instance, we can elect to minus 2X from both sides, right? So this will give us X here, and then we can elect to add 57 on both sides, right? So it's going to be this one, it's going to be X equal to 57. So the Vikings have scored 57 at the half. So 57 points here. Because there is a differential of 19 points, which means the teams have scored only 30.
38.
38, exactly. All right. Again, from here to the end, this is just solving the proportions. When you have the proportion ready, it's very easy to solve after. But what is the issue? The issue is to have the proportion in the first place, right? That's the issue here. We agree on that. The issue is to have this right here. Okay. So let me give you another one which is similar to this one, and then you try to do it by yourself. After that, we're gonna open a new section. All right, so Sarah worked 10 more hours than Josh. You see, 10 more hours. So we don't know how many hours each one of them did work. We don't know, but Sarah worked 10 more hours. Okay. If Sarah worked 7 hours for every 2 hours, that's just a ratio. 7 hours for every 2 hours just worked. How long did they each work? Do the same stuff, same thing. Sarah and Josh. All right, think about it. All right. You see, you have to involve variables, right? Okay. The first row is clear. That is clear, the first row. Sarah works 7 hours for every 2 hours Josh works, right? That is clear. Okay, now, how about now, can somebody tell me what they wrote in the second row?
For Sarah, I wrote 10 plus X.
Uh-huh.
And then for Josh, I wrote X.
Thank you. If Josh have worked X hours, right? You see, you have the choice where to put the X. You have the choice where to put the X. If Josh have worked 7 hours, X hours, because of this, Sarah is 10 more hours, it's going to be X plus 10. You see? Everybody agree with that?
Mhm.
Now, if somebody else did the other way around now, if you put X for Sarah, you're going to put X minus 10 for Josh, right? Okay? If somebody has more hours, the other one has less hours, right? That is just logic. After that, what's going to happen now after that? The cross multiplication, right? This and this. It's going to be 7x is equal to 2 parentheses x plus 10. Right? Is we distribute, we get 7x is equal to 2x plus 20. We minus 2x, so we get 5x is equal to 20, right? And then we divide by 5. We divide by 5, so we get x equal to 4. So Josh have worked 4 hours, right? So Sarah have worked 14 hours, right? 4 hours, that is 14 hours. All right. You see, I mean, don't try to say, okay, this one's 7 for 2 hours, etc., etc. You know, 2 is a nice number. I think the best way to do it is to do this little table over there. It's a proportionality table. When you do that, I think you can solve any problem you have. Okay. All right. So that was few applications. Like I said, you know, in the test next week, they will, you know, we will not ask about this type of word problems because, you know, the review sheet doesn't have it. Okay. The review sheet does not have them. That is why. So now we're going to open up a new section, which is very, very important section. How to solve rational equations. That is a very, very, very important stuff. So how to solve 2.6, solving rational equations, right? Okay, so we have to first to distinguish between what we call a rational expression and a rational equation. You see? So, for instance, when you say here, when you say 3 over x plus 5 over x minus 1, this is a rational what? Expression, you see? Okay? Why it is not an equation yet? Can somebody tell me why this stuff is not an equation?
Because it's not in the format yet? Or
What is missing? Every time you have an equation, you have to, what you have to see in any equation.
Equal. Has to be equal to
Fine.
something.
Exactly. The equation is something that have 2 sides, one side equal to another side, right? So this is just a rational expression. Now, when we say 3 over x plus 5 over x minus 1 equal to 6 over x minus 1, that because of this is now a rational equation. You see, what you're going to do is to solve this type of stuff in this section. You're going to try to solve this type of equations. Okay. All right. So you have to bear with me because, you know, we have to understand very well what we used to do. It's going to involve the LCD. Okay. It's going to involve the least common denominator, right? Okay. So now how to solve this? Let's start with something like which is kind of easier. If I have, for instance, you know, 1/3 minus, you know, or x over 3. I'm sorry, x over 3. Okay, minus 2 over 5 equal to, you know, 4, something like that, right? One of the ways to solve this one, let's say I don't like fractions, right? I guess, a lot of people don't like fractions. One of the easy way to solve this is to say, let me do something to remove all the denominators, right? Let me do something, let me multiply by a very well chosen number that's going to remove all the denominators, right? What is that number? What is the number that, look at this, what number can you multiply the whole equation by to get rid of all the denominators at once?
15.
15. 15 happens to be the LCD, right? Everybody agrees the LCD is a 15? The only denominators I have is 3 and 5, right? The LCD is 15. So if I go ahead, so here's the LCD is 15.
Go ahead, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, so go ahead. So you're gonna multiply everybody by 15. Go ahead and do it.
Okay, so
Uh-huh.
wait a minute. So in order, 5 times 3 is 15. So then it would be 5x.
Uh-huh.
And then you need the 3 times 5 to make the 15. So then you'd multiply the 2 times 3.
Uh-huh.
Describing it how you would do it. Okay, so then
How about the 4?
do you do that one too?
Exactly. Exactly. You see, you have to multiply everybody by the LCD. We have to multiply everybody. We're going to put 15 everywhere. We're going to put 15 everywhere. So what we hear is we say multiply each term by the LCD and simplify. That is what you're going to do every time we have a rational function. That is what you're going to do. That is the simplest way to do it. Okay. In math, we never have one way to do stuff in math. We never have one way. We always have a lot of ways. But the simplest way to do this stuff is to multiply each term by the LCD, and then you go and simplify. When you do that, all the denominator will be gone after that. So look, what happens here when you do 15 over 3, how much left? It's 5, right? 5x. When you do 15 over 5, how much left? It's 3. What is 2 times 3? 6, right? And then 15 times 4 is 60. You see? You see how simple this equation is? This equation becomes very simple. No more denominators, right? No more denominators. So here, no more denominators. So it's gone. So now we solve for x, right? So we add 6, we get 5x is equal to 66. And we divide by 5, so we get x equal to 66 over 5. Okay, so multiplying by the LCD will be one of the easiest way to do this stuff, right? Multiplying by the LCD.
Can you build them up instead, or does that lead you into problems?
Do what, for instance?
Like if like this 15 is going to be the LCD, could you have just said, okay, that would be 3 times 5, so it would be 5x. And 5 times 3 would have been 2 times 3. I mean, you get the same thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So what we just showing before the simplification, we just showing where this have come from. You see, so we always have to put ourselves in a case what to do in general, right? Okay, if the example is just look like this, exactly what you said is like cross multiplying. 5x minus 6 equal to, you see, but when somebody does that, maybe they can forget to say 4 times 15, maybe they can forget that, right? So the best way not to forget nothing is to show exactly what you do, okay? The 5x come from when you multiply by 15 and then you simplify by 3. You see where this 5 come from, right? Again, so what you say here is a general case, what you do in general, right? If you have a general equation, what to do. So everybody try to remember this. Multiply each term by the LCD. Try to remember that. This is what you're going to do every single time today, right? Every single time, if you have a rational equation, this is exactly what you're going to do. You're going to multiply each term by the LCD, okay? So now if you go to another example, you see, not very hard, like this one right here. Again, look at how many denominators we have. How many denominators we have? We have 3 of them, right? Okay, what is the LCD here, everybody? What is the LCD, you think?
2x.
2x, thank you. You see, I have x, which is the same x, and I have 2, which is only 2, right? So the LCD, the combined LCD is 2x, right? LCD is 2x. You see what I'm going to do? I'm going to multiply each term up on the numerator. I'm going to put 2x on the numerator. I'm going to put 2x, 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 right? Again, visually, that is the easiest way to do it, okay? Visually. For 2x, 2x, 2x. Okay? So now what I'm going to do? I'm going to focus on each fraction and cross what needs to be crossed out. And each denominator will be gone, right? Look at the first fraction. What can we cross out?
The x.
The x's. This x gone, this x gone. How much left?
6.
Everybody sees that 6 is left. Everybody see that? You have 6 left. Plus, look at the second fraction. What can we cross out?
2's.
The 2's. These 2 gone. What left?
X.
1 times x, which is x, right? Look at the last one right here. What can we cross out?
The x.
The x is right. How much left?
14.
14. You see that? So we subtract 6, so we get x equal to 8. So right here, before I say 8 is my final answer, okay? When I come back to the original equation, focus on each denominator, right? Focus on each denominator. What number, because we cannot divide by 0, right? Everybody knows we cannot divide by 0, right? What number we cannot substitute x by? To avoid that, to avoid dividing by 0, we cannot substitute x by what? We cannot substitute x with in the original equation. Can we substitute x with 0?
No.
Everybody see that? We cannot substitute x with 0, right? If you substitute x with 0, you're going to have 3 over 0, which doesn't make sense, right? So when you're done with solving this, you have to check your answer, right? Always you have to check your answer if your answer is good or not. Basically, even if you don't check the whole thing, you have to make sure your answer does not make the denominator 0, right? When you substitute x with 8, you have to make sure we don't get a 0 denominator. Because if you get a 0 denominator, then the answer is not a good answer, all right? Okay, so that is the first example. We're gonna follow that. I'm gonna give you another one here. Go ahead, say what is LCD and multiply each term. I want everybody to do it that way. I want everybody to say what is LCD and then multiply each term by the LCD and cross out. That's what I want people to do. All right, so can somebody tell me what is LCD?
12x.
12x. I mean, you see, I really hope like everybody, you know, knows the answer to those questions. Like only like a couple of people are answering, right? So you have to, even if you don't speak the answer, you have to be able to answer, to know the answer, right? If you don't know the answer, then you have to point it out. Okay, you have to say, I don't know what is it, why the LCD is 12x. Okay, so if you don't say nothing, you know, and we're just going to keep going. Okay, so the LCD here is 12x. Thank you. Okay. Now what you're going to do here to just try to follow the direction here. Again, why is this direction? Because it is the easiest one. This stuff is the easiest way to do it, okay? So we're going to multiply each term with the 12x, you know, we put 12x at the top, not top bottom, 12x, and here 12x, right? Okay? And then over each fraction, we're going to do the crossings, right? Basically, every single denominator will be gone, right? Every denominator will be gone. You see, the first fraction, what's going to be gone? The x is gone, right? And the 12 and the 4, what is 12 divided by 4?
3.
Is 3. Now look now, what I have left now? 5 times 5 times 3, which is what?
15.
15. Minus. In the second term, I have nobody to simplify. What I have then? 24 what?
X. 24x.
24x. Thank you. And in the last one again, what can we cross out? The x is gone. 12 divided by 6 is how much?
2.
2.
Which is
And we
due
get
14.
14. Thank you. You see, every time we do that, the following step will be very simple, right? Every time we do what we did, the following step will be very, very simple. Now we just solve for x. You know, we have, you know, you can subtract 15, we get negative 24x is equal to negative 1 divided by negative 24 divided by negative 24, so we get x equal to 1 over 24. All right. So that is a second example. You know, again, if you know that principle, what we do here, frankly, it will not make a big difference, right? Okay, let's do this one right here, the next one, number 4. Okay, this one looks familiar, right? Does it look familiar? What it does remind you? It does remind you what?
Proportions?
Proportions, right? You see, this one, you can go ahead, okay, let me cross multiply. But just to reconcile the two stuff, cross multiplying, and in this case, multiplying by the LCD. Let's multiply by the LCD and see if it does lead us to the cross multiplication, right? Let's do the same way we did for the previous examples. What is the LCD? Multiply by the LCD and see what we get. If what we get will match the cross multiplication, right? Okay. So what is LCD? You write what is LCD here.
24.
And then multiply each one of, how much is the LCD here, please?
24.
No, 24 here would be the LCD if you have just the numbers, but you have x involved. Is x plus 8, 6 minus 8, 6 minus x. You see, I cannot just single out the 8 and the 6. They are part of the expression. We have x plus 6 as a whole and 6 minus x as a whole. So the LCD here will be, what is going to be the LCD here? If you call the two denominators, what's going to be the LCD?
It's x plus 8 and then 6 minus 8.
Exactly, it's just a combination of both, you see. You see, if it would be 24, right? Marlana, if it would be 24 if it has this. That
Okay.
LCD is 24, right?
Okay, I
But
see.
when you have x plus 8 now, you cannot just single out the 8. It's x
Okay,
plus 8
I
as a
see.
block, right?
I
Exactly.
see.
So that is why the LCD is x plus 8, 6 minus x. Now what you're
Okay.
going to do to it? At the top of each fraction, you're going to multiply by the LCD. X plus 8, 6 minus x. X plus 8, 6 minus x. See now visually what we do?
Mhm.
Right
guess we
right
can
now, what's
do
going to be
it.
the next step? Is to do the crossings, right? The first one, what can you cross out? You can cross out the x plus 8, right?
Mhm.
What you have left? 3 parentheses,
6 minus x.
6 minus x. The second one, what can you cross out?
6 minus x.
6 minus x. What you have left?
4 times x plus
Parentheses.
c.
X. Does it match the cross multiplication? It does match, right? You see, so cross multiplication is a particular case of what we've been doing, right? And cross multiplication only works if you have one fraction on the left side, one fraction on the right side, right? If you have more than that, then we don't cross multiply, okay? All right, and then we solve this stuff. Okay, so we're gonna be 18 minus 3x, right? Is equal to what?
4x.
4x plus
32.
32, that's right. Now, you know, you can choose to group the x's on the left side, the numbers on the right side, or you can do the other way around, right? It doesn't matter, okay? You see, we can say, okay, let me do minus 18, and then this go on right here, and then minus 4x, and this going right here. So we get negative 7x is equal to 14, right? And then we divide by negative 7, so we get x equal to negative 2. Right? This is what I was saying here. Look at your original equation. On the first denominator, what you have? The first denominator says what? X plus
8.
X plus 8. Now, if you don't want x plus 8 to be 0, what number you have to avoid for x?
0.
Now, if x is 0, it's going to be 0 plus 8, right? But what number, if you don't want x plus 8 to be 0, x plus 8, what number x has to avoid? What value x has to avoid? X plus 8 is equal to 0 when x is equal to how much? Solve it. You know, solve this. X plus 8 equal to 0. How much is x? What you do to get to both sides?
Negative 8.
Negative 8, negative 8. You get x equal negative 8, right? You see, that negative x is an excluded value, right? If our answer was negative 8, we wouldn't take it as a solution. We would say no solution, right? Same way for 6 minus x. 6 minus x, when x is 6, 6 minus x is 0. 6 minus 6 is 0, right? You see, negative 8 is a prohibited value. 6 is a prohibited value. Whenever you get your final answer, you have to see if your final answer is not a prohibited value, right? That, you know, just like a quick look, okay? Sometimes that can happen, sometimes. But first we focus on the process, right? Again, the process is find the LCD, multiply by the LCD. That is the process, right? So let me see if we have another one here that is more complete. All right, you see that one is more complete right here. Remember last week, before you say what is the LCD, right? What you have to do to the denominators, if necessary. What you have to do to them, if necessary. Factor, right? Before we say.
What is it? You got to do what?
What we have to do to the denominators, we have to factor them, if necessary, factor. Right? The first denominator, x plus 3, do we need to factor it?
No.
No. The second denominator, x minus 1, do we need to factor it?
No.
No. The third one now.
We need to factor it.
We need to factor it. Go ahead, factor the third one.
I believe it would be x plus 3, x minus 1, which corresponds neatly to the two preceding denominators.
Yes, you see, that is That's going to be almost the case every time if you want to make it easy, right? If the equation has to be a nice equation, the big denominator, most of the time, I'm not saying every time, but most of the time, this one is very likely to be the combination of the other ones, right? But you have to double check that, okay? You have to double check that this one is actually indeed x plus 3, x minus 1. You have to double check it. Is that the case here? It is the case, right?
Yes.
From here, after factoring, everybody, what is LCD now? From after factoring, what is LCD?
That full last equation, x plus 3, x minus 1.
Exactly, thank you. Because x plus 3, x minus 1 contains everybody, right? You see, x plus 3, x minus 1 contains everybody. Now what you're gonna do now? Always, to follow what we said, we're gonna put the LCD everywhere, just at the top, not top bottom. We are not doing something at the top, something at the bottom, like next week. We're just putting the LCD on the numerator only, right? Okay, so we just put the LCD here, x plus 3, x minus 1, right? X plus 3, x minus 1, x plus 3, x minus 1. You don't forget the right side. You have to do it on all the sides, right? You see that, everybody? Once you do that, my guess is it becomes simple, it becomes easy. Why? Because now you simplify. Look, x plus 3, can you cross out x plus 3 from the first one?
Yes.
X plus 3, x plus is gone. So what left? I just read what left, right? You see, I don't do the math yet. I just read what left. What left?
X.
4 is left, right? Parentheses what?
X minus 1.
X minus 1, thank you. Then I move on to the second fraction. What can I cross out from this in the second fraction? What can I cross out?
Minus 1.
X minus 1, right? X minus 1 is gone. X minus 1 is gone. What left?
5 times x plus 3.
5 times x plus 3. Then I move on to the last one. What can I cross out now here?
X plus 3, x minus 1.
X plus 3 is gone. X minus 1 is gone. What I have left?
The same thing that you started with.
Which is what?
Negative 7 over x squared.
No more over, because the over is gone.
Oh, it is gone. Okay, so just negative 7.
It's just negative 7.
Right.
Right? You see, every time you multiply by the LCD and you cross out what need to be crossed out, you are left with something with no more denominators, right? Okay, and now we just proceed. And you guys know how to proceed, okay? You guys know how to proceed. What you have to do now?
So now you do 4 times x.
4 times x.
4 times negative 1.
Minus 4, yep. Plus what?
Plus 5x. Plus 15.
Plus 15 is equal to what?
Negative 7.
Negative 7. Now you're going to group the like terms, right? This one and this one is 9x, right?
Yes.
Negative 4 and positive 15 is plus 11 is equal to negative 7, right? That's plus 11. And then here minus 11, so we get 9x is equal to negative 18. We divide by 9, we get x equal to negative 2. Okay. So now just a quick look. Everybody, quick look, contrast. Contrast between, we're gonna see what we did last week and today, before the end of the class. If you have to do this, 4 over x plus 3 plus 5 over x minus 1. You see? And here we have 4 over x plus 3 plus 5 over x minus 1 equal, you see? That is an equation equal, right? Negative 7 over x plus 3x minus 1. Last week, look last week. The one on the left is just an expression, right? That is just an expression, okay? Not an equation. This is just an expression. What we learned last week to do, we have to find the LCD, right? The LCD is x plus 3, x minus 1. But after we get the LCD, what we do? We have to make everybody becomes the LCD. Remember last week? We have to multiply this one by x minus 1, right? And here, what is missing is x plus 3, right? Okay? That's what we learned last week what to do. So when we do that, we get this. So we get what? We get this x plus 3, x minus 1, and we get 4 times x minus 1 plus 5 times x plus 3. You see, that is when we don't have an equation. When we do have an equation, what we do, after we get the LCD, we're gonna multiply everybody by the LCD, right? That's the difference of the two ways. We're going to multiply everybody by the LCD, x plus 3, x minus 1, x plus 3, x minus 1. And we don't multiply the bottom, x plus 3, x minus 1. And then we cross out, we do this, 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 this. Everybody see? In the case of an equation, we multiply only the numerators by the LCD. In the case of an expression, we have to make everybody becomes the LCD. That's what we did last week, okay? The two are different, okay? So don't confuse the two. This is an expression, this is an equation. This is an equation, right? This is just an expression, okay? All right, so everybody please, so when we come back, Thursday, we're gonna do more practice, right? So you have to practice that. Thursday, you're gonna do it by yourself, mostly by yourself. Okay, so today we went over almost all the cases, right? So again, the review sheet is on Blackboard, right? The review sheet is on Blackboard. So you have to make sure you know how to do all the problems from the review sheet by yourself, okay? Again, the test will be on Zoom next week. Don't miss the test. If you miss the test, it's going to be a 0, right? So, I mean, it's not Blackboard, it's like, Brightspace, I'm sorry. It's going to be like on Brightspace. Yeah, Blackboard is gone, right?
Will the Zoom test be the same time as our class normally?
Yeah, so same time as the class. So probably the first 10 minutes, 20, 15 minutes, I'm gonna go over little stuff to refresh your memories, right? I'm not planning to go over the whole review sheet. That is left for you to do. The review sheet is for the students to train themselves. Now, if you need more help, you try to come to the office hours, right? But let's say on the 5th, next Tuesday, right? At first, 11:10, I'm going to take like 15 minutes probably, go over some stuff, refresh your memories, and then I open up the test on Zoom. And like I said, everybody has to have their camera on, and you have to show me the station, right? You have to show me the workstation, not the face, because, I can see somebody's face and then they have a laptop, where they can do stuff, right? Okay. So we try to avoid those stuff, okay? And if you had accommodations, like, for more time, some people have accommodation for more time, then I have to send your test to the testing center. You will not have access to the test on Brightspace. I will exclude your name. You have to go to the testing center to do that, okay? Now, if you elect not to go to testing, if you have accommodations and you elect, you don't want to go to testing center, then I will not be able to give you more time because it's going to be on Zoom, right? Okay. All right, everybody. See you. Take that test, please, everybody. Take that test seriously because of how much it's going to be worth. The test is worth 15%, right? 15% is a lot. If you score A in the test number 1, that is a good thing, okay? That's a good situation to be in.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have multiple devices, but like with my, right now I'm on my laptop and I don't know, will we have to use a multiple device for you to be able to see our, us
Yeah,
work?
as long as, you cannot use a cell phone, but other than that, if I can see the workstation, it's good,
Yeah, well, I have a tablet and a computer, so I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I can see the workstation, it's good. And then, of course, for a lot of stuff, you have to show the work, right? Everybody, on the test, you have to show the work. Only a few problems, some problems, like, factors of GCF, there is no work to show. But the AC method, you have to show the work. Solving equations, you have to show the work. Yes.
Now, will it be the same as we'll have to upload the test to you, scan it?
Yes, now if everybody here, so I appreciate to get PDF files because they are way easier for me. But if that is a very big challenge for somebody, they can, at the latest, if they cannot upload it on Brightspace, you can take pictures and send them to me. But you have to wait until I tell you your email has arrived, okay? If you are done, then you have to tell me, I'm ready to take pictures. Only then you can use a cell phone. Either you scan it, if you scan it and make it a PDF file, I would appreciate it. This is the easiest for me, okay? If you cannot do that, like some people in the quiz number 1 did that very well, okay? If you can repeat the same stuff, I would appreciate it, okay? So if not like the last solution, if you cannot do that, you can take pictures and send them to me. All right. Okay, see you next week.
Thank
One
you.
second. I see your office hours. Would you have any time available for me to see you today? Like anytime?
Outside, no, today is my busy day.
Okay.
Tuesday,
just
I'm
briefly.
really busy, but
Just briefly. Now I want just briefly so we can talk. That's all.
It's like I have Tuesday, I have back to back class.
Okay.
You see, after your class, I have another class.
Right.
After this class, and then I have another one, stuff like that. But outside Tuesday, if you wanna meet me outside my office hours, you email me, right? When you are available.
All right, I'll email.
I'm looking to my email every time, and then we try to set up a time.
Okay, I'll email you.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Thank you.
using the notes.
Okay,
app
thank
is very
you.
good. Thank you very much, guys. See you Thursday.
You, bye.
See ya.